Hey y'all, happy Monday. Today we're talking about how I take the entire month of July off to be with my kids and how you can set your business up so that you can take weeks or months off without making clients mad, without losing momentum, without, uh, just decreasing your cash. Like I know so many service providers who feel like they cannot take time off. That is part of being a service provider is that we are on the hook for client delivery, but there are ways. We're going to talk about three concepts today and some concrete examples so that you can step away from your business and not lose momentum and be able to maintain consistent cash every month. So we're going to dive in, but first, let me pull myself up in the group. Let me double check that the volume's on. I just had to start it over a second ago. These headphones are funky and sometimes they don't have the sound start immediately. So let me double check that. If you're here, if you catch the replay, say hello, ask your questions. I want this to be something you can take and run with. And so if you have any like specific questions for you or your business, feel free to drop them here and we can ideate together. If you join live or here she is. Okay. Here she is. There's me. Just wanted to make sure I was talking. If you join live or catch the replay or ask questions, you'll be entered to win a playbook about 5 questions I asked to create consistent 10K months, will pay myself consistent 10K months. That's the big thing. I know so many people who make really great revenue, but they don't pay themselves nearly as much as I do. There are people with bigger businesses than me, but their take home pay is not 10K a month. And so this is a playbook I created a couple years ago, but it's still very relevant. So we'll be announcing the winner on Friday. If you leave a comment, ask a question, anything here will get you entered. But make sure you get that playbook so that you can figure out the 5 questions and the answers to that to make sure you can pay yourself 10K months, not just make 10K or 5 figure months in revenue, but be able to have the really good take home pay to go with it, because that's kind of the whole point. So that's our giveaway today. Let's go ahead and dive into this conversation. I will say this conversation, I just went for a walk outside because it is so beautiful in Charleston. This weather is like perfect right now. And so I love having this conversation now because this is kind of the time of year where kids are getting, spring break is coming or it's already come. Ours is in April. Taking time off for the summer, planning trips. There's just so much right now that I know as a service provider who previously felt like I couldn't take any time off from my business, I know what that feels like. So we'll dive into this, but the first thing I want to say is if you disappeared from your business for a month, would you still make money? And most people's answer is no, unfortunately. And this is something I really want to change in the online space, especially as moms. Even if you don't have kids, most of us do not want to be on the hook working all the time. Maybe you don't have kids, but you want to take trips or you want to take Fridays off for pickleball or insert whatever. You want to go on walks in the middle of the day. Like it's so nice to just be able to do that. And if I know so many people who can't do that because they really haven't built a business. They have built basically a time trap. So we're going to talk about that. So let's break this down what it looks like for me. And I'm not going to give you like my how-tos and exactly what I've done. I've done that in previous live streams. What I'm talking about today is being able to take, time off during spring break and not have client sessions. The month of July, I take it off completely. I go with my girls to the mountains in North Carolina. We are off the grid, y'all. We don't even have trash pickup. We have to drive it like 30 minutes to dump it somewhere in a trash bin. Like we're not just dumping it anywhere. But that just goes to show like there's no internet. Like we go to town once a week, we get groceries, I'll stop at the library, I'll check in with my team. But that's it. Like I'm very much off the grid. I still pay myself my normal amount that month. I pay my team because we still have the team going that month. I still have sessions with my one-to-one coach, so I still pay her. I still have overhead, software expenses, like there's all those things, and I still pay for all of that. And that feels really good. And then my clients don't freak out. They aren't getting mad. They understand. They take this as a break. They have kids or they just, it's just so freaking hot in Charleston. It's just like everyone just kind of needs a break. And wherever, I mean, I work with clients all over the country and internationally, and it's just hot everywhere and everybody's just over it and done. And so being able to take time off and not have to hit your business hard in July is something my clients very much appreciate and like love about our work together. But my business does not lose momentum while I'm gone. I come back and I have clients waiting for me. I come back and pick up exactly where I left off. I am not like running around like a chicken with my head cut off beforehand, trying to get stuff wrapped up. Like it's pretty seamless and easy. This will be the third year that we're doing this. And this was not always the case. Like I built my business intentionally to do this. Back in the day when I first started, I remember we went to Italy. I was in month like 5 of my business. I had a 9-month-old baby and I was pregnant with my second daughter. I was probably, if my older one was, I was probably like 4 months pregnant when we went to Italy. And I had two clients. And it was one of the most stressful feelings ever going to Italy and just feeling like I wasn't there for them. Like there was so much there. So that's part of one of the concepts we're going to talk about today. But that is such a huge shift from that having two clients, going to Italy and feeling like I was missing something. I felt like the other shoe was going to drop. I felt like I had to constantly jump or check in. And now I take the entire month of July off and I really trust that my business and everything runs without me. Yes, I check in once a week, but that's with team and I'll just check in and I post to, stories and stuff, but it is so different than how it used to be. And I know that if I can make that shift, you can too. So let's dive in today and talk about the 3 concepts that are really going to help you do that. This is something I'm working with all of my one-to-one clients. And this is something in April, I'm opening a week-long coaching intensive. So if you have not set your business up to be able to run without you or be able to not lose momentum without you, or you are going to make your clients mad if you step away, like let's fix that. That's a lot of the work I'm doing with clients now, is so many of them who are low ticket service providers, done for you service providers, they are not able to step away, and it is a huge problem. So we want to set this up in your business. So I'll be talking a little bit more about that in the capacity that I'm supporting clients in that, but this is something in a week-long coaching intensive, we can easily do this, and I'd love to support you. So I'll put a best fit call below later, and I'll kind of break this down and we can see how we can set your business up to be able to do this. Because again, if I can do it, my clients can do it, you can too. So let's dive in. The first concept I want to talk about is most service providers are set up like employees, not CEOs. And this is a huge thing in the online space and just with businesses in general. When you start your own business, you're really coming at it from that employee mindset because that's literally all you've known. So we've got to change that. And what I'm doing with so many of my clients and even the ones who are brand new, ones who I have supported for years, it's helping them step into that badass CEO shoes. Stepping into being that identity is so much of our work. But what most service providers get wrong, especially hourly, done for you, low ticket, is that they're saying yes to every client. They're really feeling like they have to constantly be available. They are pricing their services based on hours worked instead of results delivered. And they even feel guilty for stepping away because their business depends on them showing up 24/7. So some concrete shifts that we can make if we did an intensive together, some stuff that I'm working on with my clients like right now in real time, is to really think about stop taking on clients who don't respect boundaries. And this is on us as the service provider to set up, really. Like we can't control the boundaries that someone, like we need to be the ones that set that up. And this is, if you're a client of mine, you've heard me say this so many times. I set good boundaries so you don't have to. It is not up to my clients to set the boundaries. It's not up to them to be like, oh, I shouldn't message her at 9 o'clock at night because what if she's asleep? I'm like, I set my boundaries so that you don't have my cell phone number, so you can't text me. We use certain platforms. I'm not checking my platforms at that time of night. Like there's so many things that we need to do as the service provider, that we need to be the leader and help our clients have those boundaries. And that's just, in the past week, I can think of 2 or 3 clients that literally it's just like, we just need to be able to set that boundary right off the bat, even if it's something that's been going on for a while. Like that's just something that needs to change because it's not up to the client to change that. It's on us. And I really set those expectations up with my one-to-one clients about me setting the boundaries. Here's where we communicate. This is what it looks like. And I'm very clear with that. That was not always the case. I remember having 2 kids under 2, taking them downtown. You know, we had this weird nap schedule, so there was this window of time where we could go out and do stuff. I remember taking them to the kids museum downtown on a weekly basis and having clients like call me and text me like while I'm trying to do all of that. And it was freaking bananas. And that was on me. That was on me for like having that relationship set up that way. And that's something I very much had to change and learn over the years. And it feels so common sense now, but looking back, it just wasn't. And it created so much stress in my life, especially with young kids. And then having to feel like I was someone's on-call bookkeeper, like that's just bonkers. So it is on us to really step up as the CEO and not just like an employee, and feeling like we can, you know, like set up the boundaries. The other piece of that is pricing your services based on the transformation, not hours. So again, if clients are paying for results, they aren't really caring how much you're working. Like they don't really care if you're sitting at your desk 24/7 or if you're going on walks during the day and you're just messaging them in between. Like that's something I love working with clients on. And what we can definitely do in an intensive, because setting your services up to be based on the transformation is kind of the catalyst of all this. Because if you are someone who's charging hourly, who's on the hook for XYZ tasks every week, yes, you can do those on vacation, you can do those sitting in the carpool line, but who the fuck wants to? Like, I don't want to. So that's why I've pivoted, and that's why I support my clients to pivot to something that is transformation based, so that it is not literally you at your desk plugging away. And that is a huge change. And that really comes down to this first concept of most service providers are set up like employees, not CEOs, because that is that employee mindset, is that I'm at my desk, pay is based on my hours. I mean, just I worked in public accounting. We had to track our time. Like it was brutal. And that was the mentality that I had coming into my business. And that is what so many people, you know, base their services and their rates on, is this employee mentality that we've got to just like throw that out the window and create a new playbook. Another piece of this is just building client retention into your offer. This is so powerful, because long-term contracts, first of all, your clients aren't going to be mad if you take time off because they're long-term and they're getting results based on the transformation. And the second piece is that's how you create stability in your revenue. So I take the month off, you know, every July. I pay myself, I pay my team. We still have bookkeeping services running. We still have payments and money coming in. Like I have set that up very strategically, and I'm working with my clients to do the same. So the majority of my revenue does stop, because the majority of my revenue is a high ticket offer, which I am not doing that month, but I still have plenty of money coming in because I have set my business up to have those reoccurring payments, to have those reoccurring services still happening. And that's something you can have in your business too. That is thinking like a CEO and not an employee. So that is a huge piece of this. So I think of, you know, like a personal story, and it was basically going to Italy and feeling so stressed out, and now taking the month off. And it is jarring to my nervous system because we're going off the grid. So I'm going from being here to having 500 mom text messages come through to being on top of a mountain with no one around. So that is like a big switch to my nervous system, but it's not stressful in terms of work. Like it's okay. I know everything is taken care of. Like my clients are good, my team is good, everything is good. And so it's really like letting myself take the time off, and no one questions it because I don't question it. And, you know, we think of the analogy with a traditional job and being an employee, and like a real business, what I've created, what I'm working with my clients to create, is a real business makes money whether you're sitting at your desk or not. Like that's just the truth. You are an employee if you're only making money when you're sitting at your desk. We want to create something bigger so that you can step away. And again, it might look like the revenue changes a little bit, or we have these other services going on, but you've got to step up and think like the CEO and stop thinking like an employee. And that is the first concept. That is the first big shift that just has to happen. So Let me know if you have questions. Think about which one have you built. Have you built your business as an employee like you're working in someone else's business, or have you set your business up and you're truly stepping into your CEO's shoes? Please think about that. Drop your comments, drop your questions. And this is exactly what I am always working with one-on-one clients. I do so many intensives to really help people restructure their offers and look at their services and what they bring to the table so that they are not glued to their business. We remove the, having to be available 24/7. We set up pricing, we set up positioning that does attract high ticket clients that they don't have to be chained to their desk delivering on 24/7. And I'm helping them create bigger revenue months. Like I want them to 5x their revenue, 15x their revenue, whatever that looks like. But the biggest piece of that I'm so proud of, that's like the underlying theme of all of this, is really helping them step into being that CEO, not being the service provider looking for the next client, not being the employee who's just clocking in and doing their time, but really stepping in and being the CEO. And that is creating an intentional and sustainable business. And that is the work that I am most proud of with my clients, and that I just love doing and want to cry happy tears on a regular basis about, because it's just so satisfying to see them step into this role. So if you want to take time off without losing money in your business, you really need to shift how your business operates. It's not about just like scrambling and working harder before you leave. It's really about this fundamental shift in the way you show up and in your offers. It just has to happen. So let's move on. We'll go to concept number 2. Concept number 2 is about time off doesn't kill momentum. Your mindset around it does. And many service providers think that stepping away is going to kill their momentum, but momentum isn't built on a daily basis. It's built on strategic consistency. And so most people think, if I stop posting, I'll become invisible, or if I'm not answering emails all day, clients will be mad, or if I don't launch every month, I won't make money. And the truth is that momentum isn't built on frequency, it's about consistency. So the first time I took that month of July off, I kind of thought I'd lose all my progress. Like I actually was leaving like, oh, we'll see how this goes. It was something I had worked on with my one-to-one coach and was like, we'll just test it and see. Like the summers sucked. Like they were hard working. I only work part-time. I work while my kids are at school, but during the summer, if they're not at school or they're just going to, sorry, text messages are coming through. If they're just going to camps, running around to camps, it's a lot. I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm tired of this. Like, I am done with this. We're just going to take the month off. And I really did not know how it was going to go. It was very much an experiment. It was very much something I just had to let myself try. And it worked so well. Like I came back to clients waiting in line to work with me. I came back to my clients who I had, and we just picked up where we left off. But it was really, I had to get clear to have marketing work without me being present. So we created marketing on the front end. And I say me, but I have a team to support me to get that out. Goodness, Penny, are you okay? I don't know what's going on with her. But so no one else was creating content for me, but I had someone helping me get it out there while I was gone, because I literally cannot be on top of a mountain with 3 kids with like 0 internet and having posts still go out, having newsletters still go out. So that is very much created on the front end. And we start that in advance. I'm not scrambling the week of to try to come up with reels. Like this is just stuff that's done ahead of time. We have like an outline that we go by. It is very organized. We have Google folders. We have all this stuff. So my marketing is still happening without me hitting the button on it. And that is so important for you to see as you're stepping into the CEO shoes, as you're creating systems and processes, being very clear that it doesn't have to always be you on the hook for all of this. And that is huge. And that's something with my clients that I'm always putting a bug in their ear. Like, maybe you don't love this part right now of marketing, but you can pay somebody to do this later. Like, we'll go ahead and make sure this works, and then create the systems and processes for somebody else to take over. Because the important thing is make sure it works, because you don't want to pay somebody to go post in a bunch of Facebook groups that don't do shit for you. And so that's part of like the data on the back end that I'm always tracking with clients, that we're always looking at. Like, I don't want them paying a VA to go post in Facebook groups if that literally does nothing. So this is part of that knowing what works in your business piece, because you want to have what works keep working without you doing it all the time, but you need to know what works before you can do that. So that's something I'm always supporting one-to-one clients with. That is something in a week-long coaching intensive I can help you solve and find. I've been in the online space for 9 years. I have been a one-to-one coach for 4 years. That is more, marketing and business know-how than I ever got in 4 years of an accounting college degree. Like, this is so valuable. I can find what's working and problem solve in your business so quickly. So if you're not sure what's working, if you're not sure where the problem or the gap is, grab a consult and we can talk about that, because you need to know that. You need to have the marketing going out, but you need to know which marketing works. So I will get off my soapbox about that. But we also want to have an offer that pretty much almost sells itself. And that is something I'm always doing in week-long intensives when I'm starting with one-to-one clients, is really figuring out what their breakthrough offer is. If they're pivoting from low ticket, done for you, hourly stuff, we are creating something that basically sells itself. I have clients messaging me like on a weekly basis that like, this really does work, or like, holy shit, I've actually created something women really want. Like, my offer does work. My pricing does work. There were easy yeses. Like, this makes taking time off and keeping momentum going while you're gone so freaking easy, because you're selling something that just works, that people just need, that people have got to have, that they cannot replace with a spouse or an admin assistant or AI. And so that is the other piece of it. And if you don't have that, grab a coaching consult. We can do that in a week-long intensive. I am so good at doing this. It is hard to do this work on your own. It is hard to create a breakthrough offer that practically sells itself on your own. I am excellent at it, so we'll have the best fit link below. But that is a piece of taking a month or weeks off, is that you have an offer that people are just wanting to buy. It's so much easier to sell that. And so the other piece of this about the consistency is, again, having that cash flow coming in the door even without you delivering on it every second. So if you feel like you can't step away without losing momentum, you don't need to do more. You just need to be really intentional with what you're doing. So one of my clients was posting every day and just felt really stuck and was so frustrated that like she wasn't selling her offer. And so we actually cut back on our posting, which I know can sound so scary. And we really got intentional and we really focused on the post and on the hook and on the CTAs even more, so that yes, she had less going out, but what she had going out worked so much better. And that's what I want for you. That is the point of having someone in your back pocket who you can ideate with on a Reels hook and know that you can just do less, because what you're putting out there just works. And this is what I'm doing with clients all day long. I'm helping them simplify their marketing. And for everyone, this is different. There's no like cut and dry Word document strategy that I give everyone that's like, here is how you systematize your content, and here's how you do it. No, it's different for all of them. It really depends on them as a person, who they are, their audience, their offers. It is so not a copy paste thing. And even within one person, we're still figuring this out, like as we're doing it. Okay, try that. That didn't work as well. Let's try this. Like, there's, for you to go buy someone's content creation plan or content vault, like go for it, but it's just probably not going to work. It's probably not going to work for you. So that is what, like, one of the main things when I start working with someone is to figure out what their consistency plan looks like. Consistency being, how are they showing up? Where are they showing up? Where is their longer form marketing? Where is their shorter form marketing? Where, like, all the little pieces of it, because we've got to have them, but what does that look like for them and their business? And then we really focus on what moves the needle so that they can step away without losing sales. One of my clients recently, she's in a launch and her landing page was not converting as high as we wanted. We've run this in the past and we know what it has been in the past. And so we looked at one of her reels and one of her pieces of content that just popped. Like it went viral, it blew up. And so we've taken that piece of content and really like applied that to the landing page. And my hunch and guess is that it's going to perform so much better. Like if this content promoting this over here popped really well, we can kind of take that format and put it to the landing page. And obviously I'm not going to share details here because I want to keep this client's information very private. But again, we literally just changed this so I don't have data. But my hunch is going to be this worked over here, so we're going to move it over here and make this work. And that's just what we're doing in business. That's what we're all doing. We're guessing, we're testing, we're tweaking, we're seeing what works. But you've got to know what moves the needle so that you can keep doing that while you're gone. You can pay a team member to keep doing that while you're gone, and it's still very authentic to you. Because if you're just having a VA slap some post up while you're gone, people can feel that, and you may as well just not post. Like I would rather my clients just not post, and if it was between them having a VA, just create some Canva graphics or not post at all. It's like, just don't post. Because like people can feel that shit. Like they know it's not you. They don't feel a connection. So don't even bother. But that is the big part of knowing what's working in your marketing so we can have it set up strategically, keep moving while you're not there. So if your business stops moving, stops building the minute you stop posting content, like you don't need more content, you need a better strategy. So that is concept 2 in a nutshell. And the third concept, the third and the last one is if you disappear and your business suffers, you have a pricing and offer problem. You don't have a time problem. So most service providers think they need more systems than what they actually need is better pricing and positioning. And look, of course, I was just talking about systems and processes to hand over to a team member, but more often than not, it's about your offer and your pricing and your positioning. So if every client needs you daily, then you're probably underpricing your value. If you can't step away without stress, you don't have a business. You have basically a house of cards. So the shift is to create better pricing and an offer that gives you leverage. So I don't scramble to take time off anymore. I communicate with clients early. I am very upfront about this when they hire me. I prep content ahead of time, and I'm talking like months ahead of time. Like we're going to have a masterclass in April. I'll start prepping for July in May and June. Like it's just kind of a slow, like, here we go kind of thing. And I check in with my team weekly when I'm up there, and that's it. And even last July, I had to replace a team member, but I scheduled those interviews for when I got back. Like it was still fine. Like it sucked. It was not ideal. Like I had to be in the library while I was there, like setting these meetings up, and I had to like let the team member go while I was gone. But it's just like shit happens, and like we moved on. It was fine. I hired somebody the week I got back. We had them up and running. You can handle this stuff. And so that is what I am here to say. Like it doesn't all go just like kicking our feet back. Sometimes shit hits the fan while we're gone and we have to deal with it. But we can do that because we're set up to be able to do that as the CEO. So concrete steps to fix this. If you feel like you literally just can't step away, we need to think about charging high ticket, charging a premium rate, VIP, concierge, whatever you want to call it, so that you aren't dependent on volume. As a bookkeeper, as someone charging $35 an hour, I had to have lots of people, lots of clients. Even now I have a bookkeeper, a team member doing this for me. If that were my only revenue stream, I'm paying the subcontractor, I'm paying her, I'm paying overhead, I'm paying bank charges. Like my profit margin on each of these clients is so much lower. So then the volume goes up even more. So even if you're like sitting there like, Jordan, okay, well, I offer load ticket or hourly or done for you, I can just pay a team to do this. And it's like, yeah, but then you're going to like need to even double the clients on top of that. And I'm talking about creating something so you don't need a huge volume. You don't need tons of team members delivering on tons of clients for profit margins that are tiny. Like I would rather you have something where people respect you, they respect your time, they respect the transformation. You can position your offer so that it's just so much more than like your time is worth X. Like we're really creating an offer that just solves a bigger problem. And that's what so many service providers who try to pivot to high ticket aren't able to do because they aren't solving a higher problem. They are slapping a high price tag on low ticket, done for you, hourly stuff, and they're calling it premium when it's actually not. So we've got to think about, this is the concrete thing, is to think about solving a higher level problem. And that's when you're able to pre-sell your offer. That's when you're able to structure payments and have cash flow coming in and have enough cash flow even when you're taking time off. And the analogy I always use is thinking about a chef. So we live in Charleston. There's like tons of restaurants. You could just, go out 2 miles and there's like 50 restaurants. And think about being a chef in those restaurants and you're selling a $20 meal. To make like 5 to 10 grand in a weekend, think about how many meals you have to sell for $20. That's a lot. That's a lot. Or you could be, catering an event and you could make 5 to 10K just with that event. And so that is what I'm really supporting my clients to do. That chef solved a bigger problem. It solved something, that was a bigger event. Someone is willing to pay for the whole puzzle to be delivered to them, not just for the piece of the puzzle, which is the meal. So that is what's so much of taking time off and being really good and solid and having the clients really appreciate it and understand and have the cash flow and not losing momentum. It all kind of hinges on having an offer that solves a bigger problem. Like it's all these other things we talked about too, with creating boundaries and creating a team and systems and processes. But so much of it is being able to just not have to deliver on huge amounts of volume. And so this is what I'm doing with my clients to really help them structure their business in a way that is not based on volume. It doesn't require them to have a huge audience. It doesn't require them to go viral or have to have 20 new clients a month. Like it's just so intentional and sustainable. So it's so easy when they want to take weeks off or when they want to take a month off, they can just kind of hit pause on that and like go do their thing and come back and it's fine. And even if they don't want to have posts go out I've even talked to my coach about like, maybe I don't have content go out the month I'm gone. Like my business would be okay. And that is where you want to be. That is one of the most powerful places to be in business, is that you cannot post content. You could not do whatever you're doing, spinning your wheels for a few weeks, and business would be okay. And so that is what I'm supporting my clients to do. That is what, if you're sitting there and you're like, no, everything would disappear if I wasn't showing up, if I wasn't delivering, if I wasn't marketing, if I wasn't posting, if I wasn't sending this, that is so not sustainable. I want you to be in a sustainable place where you cannot lose momentum, where you don't make your clients mad, and where you're not losing out on bunches of cash. I want you to be able to take time off and pay yourself and pay your team and pay your overhead and feel really freaking good about it. And so that is the work that we can do together in this week-long intensive I'm opening in April. It is March right now, so I'm booking best fit calls for that. So again, this is a zero pressure call. This is literally, do you have the problem I can solve? If so, we can talk about what that could look like to work together in this week-long intensive, because this is something that is just so fundamental to you staying in business, especially as a woman, a female in business with kids. You being able to take time off, you feel really good in your business. I want you to be in business for the next 10, 20, 30 years, however long you want to be in business. I wouldn't have made it 9 years in business if I couldn't take time off and feel really fucking good about it. And that is just something I am on such a mission to help women do. Because if you feel so stressed, like I was in Italy, like that was a feeling I never want to have again in my business. I don't want anyone to have that feeling. If I had built my business with that structure and hadn't changed anything, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today. I would have not created over $1 million in lifetime revenue. I would have not been able to support my clients to 5x their revenue, 20x their revenue, or I've helped clients go from 2K months to 32K months. Like none of that would have happened if I hadn't structured my business differently. And that's why I am so deeply passionate about this. So let me know your questions, your comments, your takeaways. I am so grateful that you are here today. Say hi, and I'll see you next week. Bye.